This is episode 59 of Alternative Facts Chicago. Another Wednesday. B-Hun back again. Excited to be here. It's a big day. It's going to be a big episode. A, we got a lot to discuss. B, we have a lot of announcements to make. C, I just love doing the podcast. Every single Wednesday, it's my favorite day of the week. Always a good discussion. The feedback's always amazing. It's been a lot going on in the media, news, sports world, and in Chicago. My phone's always buzzing up, and it's crazy. I'm trying to learn myself that I can't respond to any and everything because you can end up in a rabbit hole of responding to messages, tweets, Instagram, Facebook posts. My Facebook's been on fire the last week with all the topics going on. So I want to thank the listeners. I want to thank everyone that's always listened to the show, supported Alternative Facts Chicago, making it the #1 podcast in the city in only a year and a half. Still growing. It's been a great ride. Sorry about that. So I do want to thank you all for listening and enjoying the show. First of all, before I get into everything for the day, I want to shout out to CEO Hayes of the Awakened Soul podcast. Great dude. He's been on the last 2 episodes with me. Did a great job. The feedback's been good. Smart dude. Make sure you check him out. He has the Awakened Soul podcast. He has the Breaks Radio as well, too, with Johnny and Ralph. So good dudes. Amazing. They have a great show. Make sure you follow them as well. They're doing some great things for us in the Midwest. We are definitely going to be working on a super show, like a super podcast somewhere in the Chicago area, hopefully before the end of the year, if not at the top of 2019. Now, quickly, let me plug our social media. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at BHUN1984. That's BHUN 1984. You can find our social media for the podcast at Twitter is AFACT Chicago. Instagram is Alternative Facts Chicago. Facebook is Alternative Facts Chicago. You can always email us at alternativefactschicago@gmail.com. Also, you can please make sure you send in questions, sponsor ideas. Always looking for more sponsors as well. And please, on iTunes, I see the reviews have been growing. Please make sure to do that as well at Alternative Facts Chicago. And we are on Spotify, Google Play, as well as SoundCloud, Podbean at Alternative Facts Chicago. So we are essentially any and everywhere that you can stream a podcast. Like I said, thank you all for the support. Now, I do want to announce a big announcement. Last year, and actually was just released just this past Friday. Been waiting for a long time to make sure to be able to announce this to all of our fans of the show. That last year, of course, they had the Chicago Podcast Festival. Myself and Bobby, one of my previous co-hosts, good dude. We actually had a show at the Laugh Factory. Good turnout. It was an amazing experience. It was actually our very first live podcast at the time. Done more live shows ever since then. It's actually a great experience to be able to be out with the listeners and actually do a live show in front of them. It's actually a great experience, a good time. I'm proud to announce that Alternative Facts Chicago did get the green light. We are actually going to once again be on the Chicago Podcast Festival. It is announced. It is official. I'm very excited to be doing the Chicago Podcast Festival with an NBA former All-Star or former NBA champion. So Alternative Facts Chicago is actually going to be sharing the stage this year with former NBA All-Star and champion Antoine Walker of Chicago. Everyone knows him. And his co-host, TV personality Clement Townsend. They have a podcast called the Southside Heat Podcast. So we're actually going to be sharing the stage with them. It's actually going to be on Sunday. I think Sunday, December the 2nd. It's going to be in the evening, I believe, at Chicago Theater Works. Don't quote me that 100%. I'm pretty sure that's going to be the location. The time is to be determined. They're still working out some things there, but we did get the green light. So for the second year in a row, Alternative Facts Chicago will be at the Chicago Podcast Festival. I'm excited. It's a great show. It's a great look for the city. It's a great look for our show to be invited once again. So I want to say shouts out to Elizabeth. Shouts out to Kelly as well, too, for the invite. We really appreciate it. It's going to be a great time. And be out on the lookout for more links. Ticket links will be out soon and more information next coming months. Obviously, we have until December. But once again, thank you all for the support and helping us get to that point, because without you, the listeners, we would not be there today. Enough of the announcements there. I actually do have one more. It's been a big elephant in the room, and I've been waiting to actually discuss and announce this for the past few weeks. So I've gotten quite a few, obviously, listeners of the show. It's been very obvious that B-Chan has not been on the show in the past few weeks. So people have been reaching out and asking where she's at. Been pretty mum on the situation. Just obviously a lot of times I don't like speaking too much on different things on social media. It's not necessarily like anyone's place. or whatnot. So I wanted to find the right time to collect thoughts and just kind of reconvene on everything that's been going on for the past 6 months. It has been a great ride for Alternative Fact Chicago since B. Chan has been on the show. So I did want to formally announce to everyone so people can please just stop asking me after this. And unfortunately, we'll have to move on. But unfortunately, B. Chan will no longer be part of Alternative Fact Chicago. She's a great, great woman, awesome family, really respect her, really love her. But we're definitely, unfortunately, going to be moving on from B. Chan for right now. So she's a great woman. No hard feelings in any way, shape, or form. It's been a great ride. At the end of the day, Alternative Fact Chicago is and always will be my baby. Started from the ground up, made a lot of headway with myself and my other co-hosts from the ground up. The train's going to keep moving. Got a lot going on, a lot more events coming up. So it's been a great ride. So shouts out to B. Chan. As always, unfortunately, she will no longer be on the show. But you always grow, you always evolve, and you always continue to improve in how you move in yourself in life and on the podcast as well, too. So I know I've improved over a lot. And anyone I ever have as a guest on the show, if I permanently announce another permanent co-host, I'm not sure necessarily what's going to happen next. But just know that how we run the show will not change. The authenticity of the show will not change. And the type of host that I have will be someone that you will all love because from what I've had, like I said, with Bobby, with Britt, they've all been great. People have loved them for different reasons, so I will always respect that, and I will never tarnish the brand of the show by having a co-host that you guys don't want. So whoever I have on the show, whether it's a special guest or what, if you don't like them, please just be honest. Please just tell me because I do respect all of your opinions on that. And I am done talking about this, but we're going to move on. But we are going to have another special guest on the show tonight, and she actually is in the studio with me right now. And I was hoping that she'd be able to talk on all these topics. I think she can. I did some recruiting around. I did some background to make sure she can hang and actually talk these topics with me. So, so I'm going to introduce Kate. She is a former radio host. I'm not in the South too often, so I don't know where the hell this is, but she used to be on Hot 102.7, which is a top 40 radio station in Valdosta, which is in South Georgia or the North Florida market from what she told me, and I heard she's badass. So Alternative Fact Chicago, say hello to Kate. Kate, how are you today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. You excited to be here?
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me. I loved that warm welcome. I did some research, checked it out, listened to the podcast for a few weeks before joining you here today, and really authentic fan base. So I'm really excited. I'm excited to dive into these topics. Thank you so much for saying that I could hang because that made me feel really good.
Well, sorry to cut you off, but it took a couple weeks. Like when I was, trying to make the transition, I knew B. Chan wasn't on the show any longer. I wanted to make sure I made a right move, and CJ, CEO Hayes is an amazing dude, did a great job, but obviously he doesn't live in Chicago, so wouldn't be a long-term fit there. I just want to make sure the next person I would even bring as a special guest will be local, and I tried to talk into it for a couple of weeks, and you were very hesitant to it because I know radio and podcasting are two different things.
Yes.
But you're here today, and I appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me. I'm very excited, and yeah, local but new to Chicago, so y'all be easy on me a little bit.
And how long have you been here?
So it'll be a year at the end of October. October 28th will be 1 year. But I was born here, just raised in Georgia, and, just was waiting to come back. Had to come back to Chicago. It's the best city in the world, so here I am.
So do you say y'all?
Oh, yeah, every time. Yeah, y'all don't make fun of me.
So you just said it there.
I can't help it.
That's dope. We're glad to have Katie part of the show. And with Alternative Fact Chicago, we talk about any and everything. Mm-hmm. All systems go. I may bounce from sports to music to Chicago to entertainment. You got to be ready. But I will say she's got some notes here, so I think she's ready to go.
Thank you.
Let's do it. So first, we got to talk about the Emmy Awards here. And I know you got a chance to see some of it. I saw parts of it. The thing with the award shows, they're so long. There's so much downtime that it's hard, especially on a Sunday night. Was it a Sunday night or maybe a Monday?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Sunday.
It might put you to sleep after a long weekend. So the Emmy Awards, and I had my thoughts, but I kind of want to get your opinions on it because I know they wanted to essentially create more diversity
right
with this episode.
And so did you think they did it?
No, but first, they did in a way, but I think it was kind of like a backhand way of doing so.
Right.
But not specifically in the right form. I don't think they were successful in how they wanted to do it. but they want to like appease diversity, but they really didn't want to appease diversity, if that makes sense. But first, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I thought that the guys from SNL, the host, did like a fantastic job. Michael Che and what's his name, Josh Yost, right?
Yep.
Did a fantastic job. The seriously hilarious guys. And I was actually expecting them to be a little funnier. It's funny that you said the lack of diversity because, like, if you don't know, the Emmys have just been going downhill. TV in general, just kind of going downhill. Of course, we have Netflix and streaming, and Netflix won a ton of awards out there today, like 23 Emmys, tied with HBO. But the stats every single year are going down. Like, the people that are attending are going down every single year. And so it's just very interesting that they brought on these two hosts that I felt like could have made a huge difference and like rustled some feathers and made some waves, especially pertaining like the Me Too movement with everything that just happened with the CBS president getting removed. And it was like they didn't do any of it. They didn't like cause a stir. They didn't say anything crazy. And I just feel like the Jimmy Fallon host, the past host of the world, would have said something and they didn't. So to me, not only did it lack diversity, but it didn't even like push the envelope. It was like a totally unmemorable year.
I think so too. And what they did at the beginning, I know with their opening monologue, and I think it was like Keenan, don't hold me this, but like Keenan Thompson were out there. I think Kate McKinnon came out at the beginning. So they had different ways of trying to promote diversity with a lot of people that they had out there. I can't think of the guy's name from Get Out. He was out there as well too. So they had Tiffany Haddish was there. Mm-hmm. They had a lot of presenters that would show diversity, but at the end of the day, no one won awards except for Regina King. I'm pretty sure, I'm not the best fact checker on here, so listeners, please let me know if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure she was the only one to actually take home an Emmy. So it's like, now we'll bring you to the dance a little more. We'll let you present more awards now. We'll give you more skits to make you feel more a part of this. But at the end of the day, you're still not going to win. And that's kind of like the vibe that I got. So like they're trying a little bit more to create diversity. And like you said, the co-hosts really didn't push the envelope, which I think they could have. Yeah. And like, they were trying to say, we're going to have people win or have people win that we want to, rub elbows with or like do work with later, which is cool. Like I said, they were pretty straightforward. They were funny, don't get me wrong. But I don't think they did anything necessary to change the award show format to where one part I thought was weird, the fact that they would announce the nominees and then they would bring out the presenters and go right to the winner. It was kind of weird. You never see that. Normally, the presenters announce the nominees, and then they'll, announce the winner. But they did it backwards. So that was weird. Don't think that necessarily worked. I just think award shows overall are just so old, so outdated that the people putting the show on itself, they need to change it up because it's hard. I couldn't really watch it. Good thing I had football on. I think wrestling was on. Everyone knows about the WWE. She's laughing at me. Everyone, I know. And people are like, oh, it's fake. Of course it's fake. It's wrestling. But anyway.
The Emmys are fake too, so which one did you watch?
I think I definitely watched more wrestling. So I think overall it was a decent show. Like I said, I think they tried to promote more diversity. I don't think it worked at all. But like I said, it didn't really do anything for me this episode.
Yeah, I agree. And what you said about award shows, I just feel like they're all about the fashion and the swag bags, and most of them are just boring to watch nowadays. So yeah, I'm with you. It was a fail for me.
Yeah, and I think the people that go to the award shows, especially like those, they're all old. Like some of the people that won, like I've never seen them before. Like, creative directors, I'm sure they're geniuses, but I don't care that Jack Johnson, the creative director of Someone, won and he brought his whole family up there. Like that didn't interest me like one single bit. So,
okay, what about Marvelous Mrs. Maisel? Did you watch that?
No.
Never even heard of it.
No, have you?
No.
Exactly.
No, but it tied with Game of Thrones for the amount of awards. Never heard of it. Never watched it.
I did see that Netflix did win a lot of awards from what I saw, which is cool because Netflix is dope. I like the fact that they're incorporating just more shows, even like putting movies that go straight to Netflix on there. So I do like that aspect, and I'm glad that they actually won some awards because of it. I'm not sure that Atlanta, the TV show, I don't think Atlanta won anything.
No, Atlanta didn't win anything.
Exactly. So that's an example. They bring, Donald Glover, they bring Childish Gambino all the way there, put him up front, parade him off as, such a great actor, producer and all this, and he doesn't win anything. So they do these things all the time just to get you in the door. And like Charlamagne always says, you should go where you're what does they say? They have you go where they're tolerated, or celebrated, not tolerated. Sorry, I couldn't get that out. But those are the type of things you're tolerated there, but you're not like fully really celebrated there. Mm-hmm. That's how the Grammys are too. Like they'll parade, they'll send Drake there, they'll put Kendrick won some, but like a lot of times they'll put these artists there, they're just not going to win. So I don't know. I think the award show format should just change, or they should just be able to relate to more of the millennials, more of the youth for it to be successful, or they should just cancel it altogether because no one really cares. I think it's just like an outdated format.
Yeah.
Oh, you got?
I'm with you. Yep, that's it.
I got you. So let us know your thoughts on the Emmys. Like I said, they need to change up the format. Otherwise, I'm going to move on from that. And let's go to some real stuff. And I hope you're ready. Can you handle some NFL talk? Because, man, the season's in, and, boy, it is already crazy.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's talk about it.
So, and I have a warm heart for this topic since Antonio Brown went to my school. Obviously, everyone knows I went to Central Michigan. Fire up, Chip. So, Antonio Brown, Pittsburgh Steelers, Le'Veon Bell. Where the hell is Le'Veon Bell been? He just hasn't been there. I saw he's been, like, jet skiing out in Miami. He's been partying, like, doing, like, an album release party. Clearly, he's not thinking about football right now, and he's actually just really shoving it to the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. So, in your mind, Kate, what the hell is going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Okay, well, first of all, let me just say I'm pissed because Antonio Brown's on my fantasy football team, and I'm getting really angry at him. But I feel like exactly what you said. It's just a slap in the face to the Steelers. Bell not showing up to training camp, Antonio Brown coming in a helicopter like he owned the place. And then did you see his tweet where he was like, you know, making a fuss on Twitter about somebody from HR in the Steelers said that he ought to get traded, and his reply was, "Trade me." Okay, I feel like we're living in this world right now where NFL players just feel like they're getting dogged on, and I understand that, but this to me is childish. This is not the NFL players that are making a ruckus or doing something for a point. They're just being children. They're basically seeing how far they can push it. They're just like using their money and their power and their influence to say and do whatever they want. And honest to God, I hope they trade him. I hope they do. And they're not going to, let's be honest. It's not going to happen. But they absolutely should, because let somebody else pick you up. Let somebody else deal with you right now.
So, one, Antonio Brown, from what I've known, even like back being in Central Michigan, never was really a diva. But when you're a wide receiver in the NFL, you just automatically have that type of bravado about you. It always comes off like that, like Odell Beckham, Terrell Owens, Chad Ochocinco. They always just come off as a diva. I think overall, Antonio Brown is really frustrated with what's going on with Le'Veon Bell not being there, them tying to the Cleveland Browns, them losing, to Kansas City, being 0-1-1. And obviously there has to be a lot more going on behind the scenes right now. And obviously, he's 30 years old, which is still a very young person. I was like, when people say, like, you're old in the NFL when you're 30, I'm like, dang, I must be, like, anxious then. But he's not that old. But obviously for NFL legs, he's a little older, but he's still very productive. He's had a couple good games to start right now. I think, honestly, overall, the Pittsburgh Steelers may want to even look to trading him or moving on because, A, Le'Veon Bell, he's not coming back there next year. He's out of there. Big Ben, he's ancient. He's still trying to play, just doesn't look the same. He's just getting old. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers may need to look to the future and get some value for him because if you overhaul the team, still have Antonio Brown on your team with all of that money, it may not necessarily get you anywhere. So they may be on the right train of thought. I don't think he's going to get traded. But overall, I think it might not necessarily be a bad move if the Pittsburgh Steelers decided to trade him. They may need a fresh start overall because right now it's a mess right there.
Yeah, I can agree. And back to what you said about being a diva, I understand that that's like the wide receiver MO. But if you saw the videos of him yelling at the defensive coordinating coach during that loss to the Chiefs, I mean, that was ridiculous.
He always does that, though.
But that's ridiculous.
I mean, he's probably frustrated, and maybe he feels he should get the ball more. Maybe he feels, obviously, just with the losing culture. I think there's just something more going on behind the scenes, and even he wasn't at practice or something on Monday. They said personal reasons. Something's going on, so maybe they said, hey, take a day off and go cool off and relax.
I think that's exactly what they did. I think they said, you need to get it together.
Yeah, I get it. Like I said, he's been in the league quite a bit. He's probably not used to losing. Pittsburgh's always good. They just had a rough start to the season. In regards to that, I don't think the Le'Veon Bell situation is helping overall, and people have come, like, I get their opinions. I'm pissed. I want him on the field for selfish reasons, since obviously he's on my fantasy team. I'm 1-1 now. If he would have played last game and done well, I probably would have won. But sorry, people, sorry, listeners, James Conner is not Le'Veon Bell. Please stop saying, oh, he's just as good, he's just as productive. No, Le'Veon Bell is one of the top 2-3 running backs in the world, and you want him on your team. And I think he's gloating right now that they're 0-1-1, that they're not winning, and that's why he's chilling in South Beach on a jet ski, like saying, hey, pay me my money or else you guys are just going to keep losing. So they're in a big pickle. I think he's making the right move overall and actually, like, taking a stance because the whole business of the NFL is cruel, it's wrong. People are trying to say, oh, he's an aging running back. The dude is 26 years old. Like, when are we aging when you say an old running back is 26 years old? So he's sticking it to them. The owners for Pittsburgh, I know they do their thing. They don't like to pay certain people. They don't like to pay running backs. I get it's an NFL situation, but he's, like I said, he's a difference maker for your team to where you have to focus your whole game plan on them. It would open up things more for guys like Antonio Brown. So I think they should have paid him a long-term contract. I think this is going to really hurt their season that he's not there. He may show up at some point. He may not necessarily be the same, which sucks for my fantasy team, but overall, what do you think on Le'Veon not being there? Do you think it's the right call for him, or should he be out there on the field with his team?
I mean, what you said, I don't really blame him, and I understand that it's a bigger issue at hand. But at the end of the day, one of my biggest pet peeves is when these NFL players, NBA players, they can be some of the worst, are just babies. Like, I'm sorry. Like, at the end of the day, I understand what you're saying, but, like, you are paid to play a game. You make good money regardless of what you think to play the game. Like, play the game. You should feel blessed that you get to do this. Like, a lot of people dream of being out there, dream of playing for the Steelers. I understand there's a lot of contingencies with it and going back and forth, but, like, play the game. Show up to practice, play the game. I don't know. There's nothing else I can really say about it.
I get it. I totally get it. And the fact that he's forfeited almost $2 million for the first 2 games so far, and the fact that he's even okay just losing $2 million, obviously he's probably going to get that back with his next big contract, which obviously he's trying to save his legs because a team is going to pay him the money in the offseason. So I totally get that. But where are you at in life when you're able to forfeit $2 million? He must be doing pretty well financially.
Yeah, he's not hurting.
He's not hurting. Now he's chilling. He's like $2 million. He's not phased. Clearly he's not going to be there this weekend. So that's going to be more money. So I get it. I'm actually going to take his side that he's actually taking a stance for once when in an NFL running back just get treated not even like a commodity. They're just like a piece of meat. It's like you just run into the ground and they'll just find someone else. So I think he's trying to put a stop to that. So I respect it. And you're basically saying that he should be on the field playing.
Yes.
I get it. So listeners, let us know your thoughts. I think it's been a good topic. I've seen it all on social media like the past few weeks. Like, should he be playing? Should he not be playing? For my reasons, get on the field. But I totally understand why he's making that stance. And I think Pittsburgh's going to have a rough season since he's not there. And he's going to love it all the way.
He's going to still be on jet skis, living it up. He doesn't care.
He'll get that big contract and still be an old 27-year-old running back next season. So we got to switch to a little bit of Chicago. Not everything Chicago yet, even though that's coming up next. But first, we got to switch to some music. And Kanye West, he announced that he's actually returning to Chicago full-time. The Chicago return tour, like his Chicago apology tour, is still going on. And what better way to do that than to say you're going to be back full-time, which obviously we know he's not. Like, no way you're going to be in Chicago full-time. You may have a home here, but no way the Kardashians, Kim's not moving to Chicago, your kids aren't moving to Chicago. They may come visit, but you're not going to be there full-time. But I love the approach of saying you're never leaving again. Great idea. And then 2, even trying to mix what better person of Chicago to mix with than mixing up with Chance the Rapper and saying you have an album coming out with him. Like, that's Chance is a Chicago guy. Obviously, if you have him on your side, the fans are going to respect you too. So I think he's actually doing the right things to get back in the graces of Chicago. But do you think it's authentic, or what the hell is he doing? He's just promoting something, or what?
Yeah, no, it's not authentic at all. He's a Kardashian now, so they make every PR move for themselves. I think he's been getting a lot of heat lately. He's been in the news negatively a lot lately. People who, stood by Kanye till the end are dropping him, not supporting him, not caring about him, scoffing at these weird comments he's making in the news. And, I feel like this was an effort. I feel like he did come back. He probably had a very authentic reason behind, like, teaming up with Chance the Rapper. He does have a love for Chicago. He named his kid after this city, whatever. I get it. So he probably did make an authentic move in, like, wanting to do the album. But I really think what he did was he came back here to promote it and announce it with Chance the Rapper. And he was like a dad that had left his kids and come back to his city and was all emotional. It's like, I'm never leaving again. Bull crap, Kanye. You are leaving. Kim K is not bringing herself to Chicago. The baby Saint and Chicago Northwest, whatever the heck their names are, they're not going to be here. You might have a house here, like you said, but he's not going to be here full time. I actually would doubt he's here half the time. He's going to have something here to say that he's here. He wants to be, like, in the media right now, the way, like, LeBron's going back to Cleveland or whatever, but really he's just a deadbeat dad and we're never going to see him.
Hey, that's a little harsh, call him deadbeat dad.
Sorry.
I think you don't think he takes
not
care
a
of
dad,
kids?
not a deadbeat dad to his kids, but I mean, like, in terms of, like, a daddy that ran away from Chicago, came back and got emotional. It's like, I'm gonna be here for Christmas. He's just gonna let us down.
I know he has that home in Montana or whatever it is. Obviously, he's got a home in Calabasas. I'm sure he has a New York home. So he's just going to have a home here to say he's here. But no way he's going to be here 30 days out of the 365 days of the year. So I get it, Kanye. I know you're like, so you're trying to get back in the good graces. All we need from you, Kanye, is just drop some hot music. Actually be creative. Like that little Pump song, I know it's popular. It's very catchy, but like, bro, like that's not the Kanye that we knew. Like the 808s and Heartbreaks and, Late Registration. Like you would never made a song like that like 10, 15 years ago. That's the Kanye we want. Obviously, he's trying to, mix up with the younger guys like Lil Pump, Tekashi 6ix9ine. I get it. You got to appeal to like the current masses in the current market. But I think he's holding on to anything he can, like standing next to Chance, like anything that's going to like help give him a boost, obviously to promote his own music. But we just need good, dope content on the music, and that's all I really care about. Joe Budden on his podcast has said, a great point, like asking, like overall, like, are you okay as a person? And honestly, that's a great point. Like, I don't think Kanye West is okay. He's all over the place. And I think this is why these moves are necessarily happening.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in and out of the hospital the past year for mental health issues. He's walked off stage at concerts. Like, there obviously is something going on. I personally just don't think we're ever going to see good music from Kanye again. I don't think he's ever going to be able to put out the same content. I think that he's just way too distracted. He's got way too much going on. He's got his fashion line. And it just seems like his priorities are not in the music until someone calls him out and says that he's done. And then all of a sudden he's like, wait, no, I'm a performer. No, I mean, concentrate on your other things. We're cool with it. That's fine. Just stay where you are.
Yeah, and these 7-song albums got to stop. Like, that was a cool little wave, like, for the month of June. With Pusha T, his, and then Tiana Taylor, and then who came out? Kid Cudi. All those. Nas had a 7-song album. So if him and Chance do a project, please, I hope it, and it sounds like Chance said it's going to be 7 songs. No, I want a full project or nothing at all. We don't need any more EPs. And if he has an album coming out next week, which is a rumor, on I think September 29th, please, it's got to be a full LP. Like, we don't need another 7-song project or anything like that, because you can just save it. But if he comes out with something, I hope he's not doing it just to bring out content. I really hope that it's legit, that it's good, and it's just the true Kanye, the genius Kanye. Maybe it's just not there anymore. Like, maybe he lost it. But I'm hoping for the best. Like I said, he's a legend in Chicago. I'm glad that he's trying to come back to the city and get in the good graces. I just hope, like I said, he's okay and that it's authentic and that it's not just a full business move, which I'm a little nervous that it's just a business PR move.
Everything with the Kardashians is a business PR move. His name might as well be Kanye Kardashian.
It basically is.
Yeah, Chris is running this whole PR thing. This was Chris's idea. She came up with it.
All right, here we go. Waiting for this one. Kill Shot or Rap Devil? Who you got?
I'm going first.
Everyone already knows what I think, so
Yeah.
And everyone's been killing my social media. It's been crazy, but anyway, not enough about that for now. But I want to hear your thoughts: Kill Shot or Rap Devil?
Okay, so I actually really like Eminem and always have, but I thought Machine Gun Kelly took this one. I thought everything he's done from the beginning has been way better. But my question is did you see everything that said that this was a conspiracy theory?
So yes, I've seen it. Don't necessarily buy it, and obviously me. And when it comes to MGK's career, I followed him the entire time. So when all these things have come out the last week, I'm gonna do my research. So a lot of it's false, but I wouldn't be surprised if overall that Interscope Records, since Eminem and MGK are on the same label, they concocted some of this. But the details of what I think that have come out, I don't think are accurate. But I do see this as a way of Eminem possibly doing this to help give a boost to MGK's career. So that part might be true, but the whole thing being a fiasco and fake, I don't believe that.
Well, and not even just that. I think that they probably planned it a little bit to do a boost to Eminem's new album because it's been a while since he's made music. It's been a while since he's really been streamlined. He took a break, take care of his family, do his thing, and this is kind of back. And, I feel like the older millennials, like, we still revere and love Eminem, like, for our childhood and for the real Slim Shady and, like, for everything he was to us. But, like, this younger generation, they don't care about him. They don't care about him at all.
No.
So I feel like it was definitely a little bit of a publicity boost. I don't know. I saw like a whole bunch of stuff about how it was like their songs are produced by the same person, which is maybe believable because they're on the same label. But I don't think it was as much of a ploy as they would think it is. But I definitely think there was a little something there.
Definitely.
Very opportunistic at this time.
Right. So they're saying that Ronnie J produced Not Alike, which was the original song that Eminem came out that dissed MGK at first. And then Ronnie J obviously produced Rap Devil as well, too. And side note, guys, please stop it. with the whole Ronnie J helped MGK write Rap Devil. That's one of those rumors that's completely false. So for the last time, and I'm not going to explain this again, the reason that he's on the writing credits is because when you hear the "Oh my God, Ronnie" part in the beginning of the song, that's his little slogan. So they automatically get writing credit. A lot of times producers get writing credit. And the people that's saying MGK didn't even write that song, some guy named Colson did. Well, no shit. Colson is MGK. So we got a lot of uninformed people out there who just that want to make up stuff. MGK would always write his own lyrics. So just can we please deaden that? So, but back to that, like I said, with Not Alike and it being the same producer, I'm assuming that Ronnie J had to give MGK the heads up that a song was coming. So when they say he made that song in 2 days, I think he had a little bit more of a heads up that he made it. He was recording it longer than that. And then once the album came out, he had the rebuttal in 2 days and was able to make the video. So I'm sure most of the song was done, but not all of it. But he still nailed it. I think Rap Devil is an overall better song. It's an actual better track. It's got choruses and all that. I think he hit on actual good points of Eminem in terms of like actually saying stuff to him, whereas Eminem only said, "Oh, I'm a better rapper than you." No shit. I have more money than you. No shit. So I think that's kind of like all he really said and like flipped it back on him, which was cool. But I do think both disses were dope. And overall, I think it's just great for hip hop.
Yeah, I agree. I think Machine Gun Kelly was way better off on this track. I think it was way good. I'm totally an Eminem fan, hands down, so it hurts me to say it. I'm not like team MGK like you are, but he did. He put out the better track. I feel like his music overall recently has been better, and Eminem's also just a little more old school. His sound's just his sound, and that's really not what rap sounds like as much anymore, so I'm with it. I liked them both, but
I get it. And the only thing I'm glad about Eminem, I'm glad he hasn't conformed to necessarily the current style, making songs with Lil Pump or Lil Yachty or Tekashi 6ix9ine. You know, I'm glad he didn't do that like Kanye's doing. Like having Joyner Lucas on the album, I think is dope. Like it actually fits like someone that Eminem would have on a track. So I'm glad he's not conformed to that. I think just Eminem, and I was talking to my boys about this, I feel like he just doesn't get the same respect. I think number one, because he's white. I think two, in terms of why MGK isn't as big as he could be, is two, because he's white. Let's just call a spade a spade. And he's like an off-brand version of Eminem. He's like the younger version of Eminem.
you don't think it's also because he opens for people like Fall Out Boy?
Yeah, which is crazy. And people like down him about that. Like, he's done so many more tours in his career. I think he only took this tour because A, it's an arena tour, a stadium tour. You know how much money he's probably getting for being an opener for like that. So money-wise, I don't blame him for doing it. In terms of like group-wise, I don't think he fits with Fall Out Boy, so that's a little questionable. But hey, if you're gonna get paid a lot of money to do it, go ahead, do your tour, make your money. The tour will be over next month, and then he'll go back to his own music. So I understand that point too. And it's funny that people are like clowning him for it. I'm like, dude, if you're gonna get to perform with like 60, 70,000 people or even 20,000 every night, you would probably do it too. So haters need to leave that and like give it a rest. But I think, like I said, I think people don't respect him like the Jay-Z or like people never come at Jay-Z. Like people never come at Nas or anything like that. I think honestly it's because of his skin color. And I think if he was black, he would never get some of the flack. So I feel like he always feel like he has to prove himself. And I think he's just sick of it, which is why he went off on people on Kamikaze. But I think necessarily was done. He shouldn't have to do it anymore after this. He shouldn't have to prove himself because he is a legend. But if he feel like he needs to do it, then I understand.
He will. Someone else is going to come from him. This is not the first time.
Joe Budden needs to, but we all know he won't.
Yeah.
He's a little scared. But, I mean, who else? Lil Pump's not going to say anything. Lil Yachty, we don't want to hear from him. The only other person I would be kind of okay going at him would be Tyler, the Creator. Other than that, I mean, I'm just going to have to pick other people to go at, or otherwise it's going to be over. But overall, so you're saying in terms of the two songs, on wax, you're saying MGK won.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Absolutely. And I agree. Of course, I agree. Even if I wasn't necessarily Team MGK, this hearing both songs, if I was being completely objective, I would still pick him. And everyone knows I'm an M fan. I'm from Detroit. I've always rocked with them. I just think it's dope for hip-hop that they're actually both rapping. And it's been something cool to talk about. Like, I've had a Facebook post up for days, and then people are still giving me comments, like, to this very day. So I think overall it's great for music.
Yeah.
That's all you got?
Yep, that's it. That was your topic. You're MGK all day. We already knew.
You didn't even know that, but now you do. So.
I did know that.
I know people always give me crap. I'm like, I don't care. I've been rocking with them forever, and I always will be. So
cool. Like who you like.
Always, and I have no shame for it.
Good.
You want to move on to everything Chicago or what?
Yeah, absolutely.
Since we are in downtown, it's been a lot going on, and I couldn't find a lot of information on this one. So for all those in Chicago, if you want to give us some opinions on that, please do. But so I guess this past weekend was Mexican Independence Day. Mm-hmm. In Chicago. I know they do like parades. I think it was on the 15th and 16th on the west side of downtown Chicago. Haven't seen a lot of footage of it, but I think one thing that was very interesting, I did see some footage right by Trump Tower, which we're by here in downtown Chicago. a lot of Mexican flags, like they are parading around Trump Tower. I thought that was a pretty cool aspect of what I saw. And clearly people just don't like Trump. Any and all races really don't like them. So I actually thought that it was cool that I did see that, and that they actually were necessarily just defending themselves and what's going on. So I don't know if people will actually still even stay at Trump Tower. I think it's kind of crazy that you're still there, but I don't have that kind of money to say I can or cannot live there, but totally understand. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I appreciated it. I thought it was a protest with something behind it, something that we're really standing for and that they're very passionate about. It was awesome that they did it. So Mexican Independence Day was actually Monday. So
Okay.
the fest led up to the eve of it, and then that's when the protest happened. I also couldn't find a lot of information about it online, but I did read that I thought was super interesting is that there's actually a Wikipedia page for a timeline of protests against Donald Trump. And he's the only president and one of 5 public figures that has a Wikipedia page dedicated to his protest. So just kind of glad Chicago could be a part of that,
That's awesome. I never heard about that. I'm actually glad you found that.
There's been 9 or 10 just at Trump Tower here in
That's insane.
Chicago. So
I mean, you shouldn't have a president in the seats where this actually has to be the case, but I guess that's the world. That's where we are right now.
yeah.
Absolutely. So, shouts out to the city. Shouts out to the West Side. Hopefully, like I said, if you see more pictures, I want to see it because I was trying to look up a lot of information, just wasn't on the city, but I felt it was good to at least bring up and talk about. Cool.
Cool.
Let's do it. So, next, and this is a big story in Chicago. I almost wasn't going to talk about this because I try not to talk about some negative things, but obviously, right here at the Daily Center here downtown is the big Jason Van Dyke murder trial. Jason Van Dyke was the policeman who killed Laquan McDonald. I'm sure I was just all over the news, big story. One thing I did want to mention with this one, I guess it came out today that PCP was found in the blood of Laquan McDonald, which a little crazy. PCP is one hell of a drug, which I don't think anyone should ever be trying. So it brings to light. Of course, they're gonna make sure to mention this, for what happened. Of course, they're gonna say, drugs are found in the system. So that's one thing to note. And then two, they reported that he was alive. Laquan was alive for every single gunshot, which pretty terrible way to die, to be able to actually, feel that. I've never been shot before, but I feel like for as many times that he was shot, to actually be alive for it had to suck. So I kind of want to get your thoughts. And like I said, because I don't follow the trial specifically, don't necessarily care to, but do you think Jason Van Dyke's going to get off on this one?
I would say probably, and the main reason is what you said about the PCP being found in his bloodstream. What we've seen with all of these cases recently regarding cops specifically who have murdered for almost none to no reason, what they just do is grasp at straws. Anything that they can say against the character of the deceased, which to me is so freaking disrespectful. It makes me just angry inside. It's already just terrible enough that we're in trial fighting over someone's life, that the family's being put through this, that it's being, publicized to the media, that all of this stuff is out there. There's reporters and there's photographers, and it's just all over the place. And now we're speaking ill of the deceased. And they're just grasping at straws to get a cop off because, Blue Lives Matter. And to me, it's just absolutely disgusting. It just boils in my blood.
And we've seen this song and dance many times. Mm-hmm. Cops go to trial, they walk out free. A lot of times they don't even get arrested at all for this. So, and coming out with the drug usage, saying PCP was in his blood and making an actual headline and a report. That was the first thing I saw today when I was on Chicago Tribune, was that that story and that specific headline. So that's the angle that they're going to play. They're going to say he was on drugs, or just any way they can present him in a negative light to have a reason to say that's why the cops were able to shoot him or should shoot him, is because he was on PCP. So sounds like you're saying he's going to get off on it. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, everyone, but I too think he's going to get off on it. He's going to walk home scot-free. Everyone's going to be pissed. It's going to be hell to pay. I'm sure there's going to be marches around it, but I just know the way with Chicago is, what the government is, everything's so corrupt right now. This is the worst city for something like this to happen, because I don't think Chicago right now, with everything that's going on, is going to be the one to take a stand. So unfortunately, I agree with you. I think he's going to get off 100%.
But maybe not. There's hope.
There is hope. Maybe it depends who the jury is.
Right, that's true.
I've seen this song and dance too many times to have my hopes up. So it'll actually be over. Who knows how long it's going to take, but it's going to be big news whenever they announce the verdict. Now, this one's a big one.
Yeah.
Amazon, and I didn't even know this. You pointed this out to me, so I had to do some research on this one today. But Amazon officially opened their first store in downtown Chicago on South Franklin. And you know a little more information on this than I do. What are some details of the store and how you can use it?
Yeah, so basically it's a cashier, turnstile only, no money store. There's 3 in the United States, and the third one's right here in Chicago. Like you said, Franklin Street, right by the Sears Tower. And so you walk in, and you have to have your Amazon app, obviously, and you just use your app, the barcode, to pay for your goods. So you walk in, you grab your stuff, and you leave. There's like food, there's goods, all kind of stuff. There's people there, like there's security, but there's no actually cash. You can't come in and use your debit card. You can't use Apple Pay. You can't use anything but your Amazon app. So kind of cool, just machines and automation and how it's taking over, but definitely cool that there's only 3 in the nation and we have 1.
So basically, we're going to be living with like robots and stuff soon. There's going to be no need to have people in these stores much longer.
Oh, for sure. That's just to self-checkout to a whole new level.
That's crazy. I mean, it's a way to save money for employers. Like, you don't have to pay people, just use machines.
Well, actually, it's kind of a common misconception that machines are taking people's jobs. I read up on this just recently because somebody has to be skilled enough to fix that machine who's always around, always on call. So it's not like this Amazon store has to have 1 mechanic. They actually have to have like 4 or 5 for separate days of the week and separate shifts. So like machines aren't really just taking our jobs, but they definitely are making them evolve.
Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Look at you bringing some facts and smart knowledge to the
show.
Boom. I like it. So make sure you check it out. I'm sure I haven't been yet, but have you been?
No, not yet.
If you've been there, let us know. I'm sure it's probably packed all the time. Amazon's a dope store. I always get stuff delivered through Amazon, so
I get everything delivered through Amazon, yes. Living in the city, anything on my doorstep at any time, oh my God, give me that.
So please don't be the person. Do you get your groceries from Amazon? You can't be that lazy.
I totally get my groceries delivered. I totally get my groceries delivered. No shame, don't care.
I do laugh at people that get their groceries. Like, you can't go to the grocery store.
I can. Oh, I absolutely can. But it's so much nicer that they're delivered every other Tuesday to my doorstep.
So you already have it like planned in advance. You get the same order.
For the most part,
do you get meat delivered there?
No.
No. That'd be a little gross. People actually probably do it though.
No, I don't do that.
Okay, cool.
Thank you for your approval.
You will know it. Lincoln Park. This one's a funny one because I laughed. So there was a story that came out today that the Lincoln Park area around like Lakeview, Lincoln Park, I think it was like Wicker Park area. It was voted, I think, and you have information on this a little more than I do. It was voted like the top or like #1 millennial area in all of the country. Was that true?
Yeah, so the West Loop, or the zip code 60661, is home to the highest percentage of millennials. 73% of people living in the West Loop right now are millennials. And so we had looked it up because we weren't really like 100% sure. But millennials are what? Ages like 22 to 37.
Yep.
And they're all living up in that area right now. So I just thought it was really interesting, and probably my favorite part of it was that it said West Loop is the best loop if you ask millennials.
That's crazy.
It's lame, but I like it.
But they would say something like even more people. That's the West Loop, but even more people live more like on the north side. It was like Lincoln Park, I think it was in the article.
Lincoln Park, Pilsen, Lakeview, Chicago Lawn, Irving Park, Logan Square, and Lincoln Square.
Makes sense, because I always laugh at people. It's very bro-y in those areas.
Bro-y.
That's my word, bro-y. Like, it's like Broville, USA. Like, in all those areas. Like, you go to Lincoln Park and all that. It has, like, a certain, like, niche about it. Like, people don't ever go to Lincoln Park, and they know about Lincoln Park, but are never there. They always say, oh, it's, like, bro-y. It's very bro-y, like Wrigley area or something like that. It's definitely, like, Broville, USA. It's just dudes on dudes everywhere. But I will say Chicago obviously has, like, 1 million women. I live in the Lakeview area, so I can't be a hater. I love living over there. It's a lot to do. It's fun. And it's like I like being in those areas because it's just far away enough from downtown, and you can still get downtown very, very easy. And that's just what makes Chicago so cool, but definitely very bro-y area.
Yeah, well, I think what you said was that it's a good demographic to work downtown. So, like, millennials are not actually really like the babies anymore. There's a generation under us that's dumber and eating Tide Pods. And so now we've graduated to the north side, and we have jobs in the West Loop, and we're taking the train. And so it's a great spot. But I just like how they've really catered these neighborhoods to suit millennials with, like, the marketing and the restaurants and the shops and the stuff to do. I mean, it's like they don't want us to leave.
I love Chicago. People are always asking, like, are you ever going to go back to Detroit? I'm like, maybe, even though Detroit's popping right now. But no, Detroit is dope. I love it. I'm gonna talk about here quickly before we get to quick hits. But no, I love Chicago. There's so much to do here. It's just the culture here. It's a lot more fun. Like when I go home and I come back here, I just get so excited. Like, oh, I'm home back in the city. So Chicago's dope.
Yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere. I came here for a reason.
Absolutely. So before we get to quick hits, I do want to shout out to Green Curtain Events. I was actually in Detroit this past weekend, so Alternative Fest Chicago got to represent at Lobster Fest, the Great American Lobster Fest. They had one here in Chicago over Navy Pier. That was a success. The one in Detroit was slammed. I was there on Friday. I was there on Saturday as well. Great turnout. Shouts out to Chris Harton. Shouts out to Nick Pobusky. Great dudes. I love those guys to death. We'll be doing more work with them soon. So they put on a great event, Lobster Fest. And that was the first time, actually the second time I tried lobster. I had like lobster mac and cheese. I had like lobster roll. They had like the original lobster you have to cut up, which is a crap ton of work. I think with that situation, you need like a full hour. You need to be like on the couch and actually can like do some work on that because those things are tough to do. But did it as well, got through it. They had like lobster tacos. They actually do business the right way. So shouts out to Green Curtain Events. If you see an event in your city from Green Curtain Events, please check them out. Let them know that B-Hun sent you. But those are great dudes. They put on a great event. Like I said, I really love and respect those guys. I'll definitely be doing more work. We'll definitely be doing more work with Green Curtain Events very soon. But I did want to shout them out. Being at Hart Plaza last week in Detroit, it was great to be back in the city. Great weather. It was hot, live music. Had the drinks flowing. Just good people there. Didn't see any incidents. So it's always a great time. When I ask you, do you like lobster or what?
I don't think I've ever put lobster on like a list of foods that I've eaten because of what you said. It's like a mess. And when you're talking about sitting on the couch eating lobster, I'm like, that's the last place I want to be sitting eating lobster because that would stink. But yeah, it's a lot of work. I don't know. Lobster's good, but I wouldn't say it's top 5. I go for like more portable foods, you know?
I hear that. But I had to try it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be more cultured with like the things I eat and try different things. It's not like hamburgers and hot dogs all the time.
Well, I feel like at a lobster fest, if you're like, no, sorry, I don't do shellfish, they're gonna look at you like you're crazy.
Yeah, I know. So obviously, if you go to a lobster fest, you actually have to eat lobster.
For sure.
But I did it. Like so, their lobster mac and cheese they had. It was a food vendor who like just opened. I can't remember her name, but she just opened like her own food truck in Detroit, which is a great idea. But the lobster mac and cheese they had was good. They even had like lobster. Like a lobster grilled cheese sandwich, which is a little unique. I didn't try it. I'm not sure that's a good mix, but people say they liked it.
Okay.
Oh, and they had, I know I'm like going on a tangent. We're going to get to quick hits soon, but they also had loaded lobster fries, which they have like a plate of fries. Then you put a ton of lobster on it with like the sauces and like lettuce on it. It's huge. But I was like, it was actually kind of a cool idea.
Yeah, there's this place in Atlanta that I used to go to that had, when I lived there, that had a lobster baked potato. That was ballin'. That was good.
This actually sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
Now I'm hungry.
Okay, sorry.
Let's move on to quick hits so we get to Clown. We got some good Clown of the Week, so you want to stay tuned for that. But quick hits here. First one, man, this is my guy. Dwayne Wade, he announces that he'll be playing his final NBA season this year. So I want to ask you, is he in your top 5 shooting guards list of all time?
Yes, he is.
Who's your top 3 to 5 list, and where does he fall?
Okay, so MJ at number 1, obviously. I have Kobe at number 3. I have Clyde Drexler at number 4 from the Trailblazers. And then I have Allen Iverson and D Wade at 5.
Wait, so Kobe was 2, Clyde was 3. You said
Allen Iverson and Dwayne Wade are interchangeable.
I got it.
Yeah.
Allen, I guess he's a shooting guard because sometimes he could be a point guard, but I guess if you put him at shooting guard, I can't disagree with it. It's actually a good list.
Thank you.
D-Wade's definitely in the top 5.
Yes, for
he
sure.
He has to be in the top. I think Absolutely. I would put him. Yeah, I'll put him number 3. Obviously, you got to have MJ. You got to have Kobe. And I think Dwayne Wade right now at this point is like by far and away number 3. I'm trying to think of like shooting guards that are currently in the NBA. I don't know if there's like any current NBA shooting guard under him that might even be able to crack that top 5 list. Like maybe down the line, possibly Klay Thompson. I'm trying to think of all like shooting guards like Jimmy Butler. No, like what are the shooting guards? Paul George. I guess he's not really a shooting guard. He's more like a small forward. No, I'm trying to think of what other shooting guards may be able to crack the top 5. I think D Wade may have that honor for quite a while. I can't really think of anyone else off the top of my head. So if you have someone else, give me an idea. But I think D Wade might be number 3 for quite a while. Now next, this one just came out today. A little peculiar. If I said that right, but Maroon 5. I don't know why this is and why they announced it so early. Like, oh, my God, we got to announce this. Maroon 5 was 100% doing the Super Bowl next year. Like, why was it such a big deal to announce it in September? But Maroon 5 is going to be the Super Bowl halftime performance. Was this the right choice?
Well, first of all, they always announce it at this time. Second of all, I think it is a bigger deal because Super Bowl 2019 is going to be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, and that's like brand new, state-of-the-art facility. If you haven't been to a Falcons game in Atlanta, probably hadn't, but I've been there, and I've been to a concert there, and it's pretty sick. So that's the reason it's like a really big deal. The first Super Bowl there, the inaugural Super Bowl performance is going to be Maroon 5. I think it was the safe bet. You know, like we had like the Janet Jackson knit slip. We've had like a couple issues. We had like a lot of people actually complaining about the Destiny Child Beyonce performance a couple years ago, which was so good. So I think they just went with the safe choice, something that everybody is going to like, you know, no matter what color you are, no matter what age you are, is safe. And that's why they did it.
I get it. And they've obviously with having Justin Timberlake this past year. I totally get it. It's a very safe choice. But it's Atlanta. Rapper heaven. You mean to tell me they couldn't put like a quartet of artists like the Migos? They couldn't have Future. They couldn't bring Andre 3000 out of retirement to do something with Outkast.
Well, it's also the Super Bowl, so you don't know what could happen. People pop up and hit the stage. Things could happen.
Jermaine Dupri out there. I'm just throwing off random names.
Maroon 5 has also had a couple like bangers this year. They had that song with Zod. They've had a couple other ones, so I don't think it's going to be as bad as you think it is.
I wish the listeners could see my face right now. She's talking about bangers that Maroon 5's had.
Okay, like hits.
Yeah,
songs.
I get it. They're always on Billboard Top 10. All very successful. Adam Levine seems like a dope dude. Like, I actually would like to hang out with him. He seems like a cool-ass person. So I totally get it. But for the Super Bowl, like, do you think that doesn't interest me one single bit? I know we got to move on from it, but I think in terms of being in Atlanta, from what the culture is, I don't know who they would have picked from Atlanta, but they could have thought of someone just a little bit better than that, but I get why.
I like that you mentioned Migos. Like Migos was going to perform at the Super Bowl.
If they do Bad and Bougie at the Super Bowl, that stadium would lose it.
They're not going to do Bad and Bougie at the Super Bowl.
If they would have let Future come out there and do, I can't think of a song. If they would have let Future out there in Atlanta, man, those people would have gone nuts. Future's a goat. A goat, not the goat. In terms of Atlanta music. But anyway, we'll move on from that. Next one, and I'm happy about this because I'm a huge New England Patriot fan. They needed something because they might have had a little bit of a struggle. I don't know if it's going to help, but will Josh Gordon be a good fit in New England for the Patriots?
I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I think that the Josh Gordon is finally going to be like in his stride. I feel like the Browns invested 4 like solid seasons in him, helping him get his stuff together. And I think this is a great move. I feel like he's finally going to be like where he wants to be. He's going to be with Tom Brady. He's going to be making money. But I will say that it's kind of dirty. I feel like that he left because the Browns just like gave him so much love and like support and like coddled him. And like he's not going to get that from Belichick. And he's not going to get that from the rest of the team. So I think they set him up for a situation for success. He's going to make the best of it, and he's going to thrive. But I still think it's dirty.
I hope he's successful. You got to think he does have an addiction. He has a problem. So there are no tolerance type of franchise to where one thing he does, they may not take it, but he may need a situation like that to get him in line. You know, a lot of times players go to a different franchise and they may change their whole life. I think Cleveland just wasn't a good situation in terms of, like, they protected him, but I just think he just needs like better support to where you can't do this or you're gone. So yes, that may help them. In regards to his production, I don't think he's going to do as good this season as he will think, but I think it's going to help him for future season, like just kind of getting back under his feet, playing, like getting some actual structure. I think that's overall going to help him, but don't expect him to have like a Pro Bowl season. I don't think that's going to happen, but it's just going to open up the Patriots offense if he's actually on the field. And I think it's hilarious that he faked the hamstring injury just so he could get traded so he can go to a Super Bowl contender. I thought that was awesome. He wanted the hell out of Cleveland. He was like, oh, I'm hurt. I can't play. So they were like, get the hell out of here. They traded him, and now he's on a Super Bowl contender. So he came up. I'm really rooting for him. I think he's a good dude. He's not a bad teammate. Like, people like being with him. He just can't lay off the weed, which, man, a lot of people can't do it. I mean, a lot of people can't do it. So, shouts out Josh Gordon. Hope you do well. And for the New England Patriots, I think it's a good move. Next, Julie Chen, who is a host of Big Brother, which I love. She actually announced that she's leaving The Talk after the Les Moonves' exit from CBS, who is her husband. A lot of drama there. Do you think she's next to leave the Big Brother brand as well?
I don't really watch Big Brother, so I'm not I would just say that absolutely she should get out of the media right now. All of the press regarding her and surrounding her is going to be negative. And it's sad when we see things like this happen because, like, she had nothing to do with this. Like, her husband's a piece of trash, but, like, she had nothing to do with this. And so everything, every talk, everything she does right now, every step she takes is just going to be, like, surrounding this scandal. Actually just saw a tweet this morning that their family is donating $20 million to the Me Too movement.
Oh, gosh.
So I just really think that that's what they're going to do. They're going to throw some money at it. They're going to disappear for a minute, and they're probably going to come back in 3 to 5 years and hope everything's cool.
The fact they got 20 million just offer
Chilling.
up to a movement, yeah. So they're chilling. They're not concerned about anything,
Right.
and obviously her leaving, getting out of Dodge as fast as possible. I think it's weird but cool that she's supporting her husband through this. Like, she's standing by his side. I don't get it.
Weird but cool.
Weird but cool, I guess.
Yes.
Like, she's loyal. She's probably like, I don't want to leave that money. But
Yes.
overall, she's
She's
okay.
got her own money too, though.
Yeah, she does. But to answer the question, she's definitely off Big Brother, which I don't even know if that show can go on without her. It would be weird having a new host for Big Brother. I mean, it has been 20 seasons, so maybe they could be like, let's start off season 21 the next 20 years with a fresh start. That could possibly be it. But overall, I think she's gone, and Big Brother has not been renewed yet for season 21, so that show may end, more to come. But we'll talk about that more toward the finale because we know I love Big Brother, and we'll be watching that soon. Next, and this is the big one we'll talk about briefly. So, NFL Hall of Famers, they actually have recently sued the NFL. They're trying to, and they've done this a couple of times to no avail, but now they are threatening to boycott all future Hall of Fame ceremonies. 22 players did, including like Jim Brown, Deion Sanders, some big names. They're threatening to boycott the future NFL Hall of Fame ceremony if they're not giving a salary as well as insurance. Is this fair, foul, or do you actually think they have a right, and will this actually happen?
So I'm borderline on this because I think that the fact that they're asking for stuff isn't bad. So, like, if you know, like, the MLB players, if you play one game in Major League Baseball, you are guaranteed lifetime pension. Mm-hmm. So I think them asking for insurance, for a salary to an extent, I mean, these are Hall of Famers. These are the best of the best to ever play. And if you're really thinking about it, you know, the one side is saying, like, they should have saved more money. But if you're thinking about it, a lot of these people played when they weren't making what the players are now. So I definitely understand where they're coming from. I definitely feel like we should be giving them something. But I basically saw that, you know, if you added up all the Hall of Famers' insurance plans for the rest of or for 1 year, it'd be $4 million, and that's full insurance. And right now, the commissioner of the NFL is making $40 million. So yes, I think we should give them insurance. We should make sure they're taken care of in that regards. I don't know about a salary. That's a lot much. You guys could go get some like endorsement deals and stuff, and, you know, like supplement your income. But absolutely, at the bare minimum, we should be giving them insurance because that's what we're doing for Major League Baseball.
Totally. Like, salary, I don't think they shouldn't need one. Especially if you're an NFL Hall of Famer, you made a crap ton of money in your career. So if you don't have that much money, you need a salary still. What were you doing with your money? So
Right.
I think that's a little bit petty. And even if they gave them all $50K salaries per year, like, just chump change for them to have in terms of what they've made in their past, that's going to be a lot of money you're shelling out to a lot of people with the insurance. Insurance, 100%. And a fun fact with the Major League Baseball: if you actually make a Major League Baseball roster and play one game even if you play one game in your entire career, you get health insurance for the rest of your life. That's cool that they do that. Their CBA is awesome. So, yes, NFL is more of a brutal sport. They 100% should have insurance. But salary, I don't know. Let us know your opinions. I think it'd be cool if they did, but I don't think that's going to happen. They've tried this before. But insurance, come on, NFL. Like, They should definitely have
Go get some
insurance.
endorsement deals. Go pull a Shaq and get a Gold Bond commercial.
Hey, Shaq's everywhere. He's
Exactly.
like, I saw him
The
like,
general.
that guy, he's taking checks from anyone that would get it. Go get your money, Shaq. I'm not mad at you. Next, who was in the wrong in this whole situation? I'll give you a quick backstory before I get your opinions. Cat Williams, Wanda Smith, or her husband. So what happened, Cat Williams is on, Wanda Smith has a radio show. She's one of the co-hosts on a show in Atlanta. Cat Williams is on there this past week and, you know, roasting everyone like Tiffany Haddish, said some things about like Kevin Hart, blah, blah, blah. But at one point toward the end of the interview, you know, they were kind of going back and forth. Wanda and Cat just kind of like roasting each other. Cat was roasting her pretty well. Obviously, the interview in it didn't think it was necessarily any hard feelings. I guess the next night there was a comedy show. Wanda was there. Cat Williams was there. Wanda Smith's husband was there as well. I don't know if they got an argument or anything. One thing led to another. Cat Williams got a gun pulled on him by Wanda's husband while there's a gun at an event like that, I'm not sure. Who was in the wrong in this whole situation?
Well, first of all, there was a gun in an event like that because it's in Atlanta and not Chicago, and everyone has guns. But I'd say the husband was in the wrong. Unfortunately, you just know, like, she's just a radio personality, but she's in the public eye. And at the end of the day, you know, walking into it, she roasts people all the time. She knows that Kat's going to roast her. She knows people aren't all going to like her. That's just part of the business. You have to have a tough skin. And so for them to freak out, and first of all, Cat Williams has been crazy in general the past couple years. He's been saying some outlandish stuff. So at the end of the day, is it worth violence? Is it worth a gun? We have enough gun violence going on in the country right now. Like, this was not what it needed to come to over a freaking roast.
Absolutely not. Like, Cat Williams roasts everyone. I think I'm going to take a different stance, say he was in the wrong, because what they're saying, the rumor is when he saw her, obviously the next night at the comedy event, he was saying, like, you should have known better than to, like, come for me or something like that.
Right, which I believe.
Which I do believe he probably did say that. So obviously the husband probably stepped in. One thing led to another. Cat Williams, in my opinion, is at fault in this situation. But he is who he is. He's going to talk his shit. Like, if you can't handle it, don't have him on your show. Don't interview him. He's very successful. But overall, if I'm going to pick someone at fault, I think he's definitely at fault. But, I mean, I think it's so great entertainment.
But at the same time, if you're traveling and you're a comedian who travels around the country, you should know the states that have concealed carry law, and Georgia is one of them, and everybody owns a gun. Everybody owns a gun. In the city of Kennesaw, Georgia, it is illegal to not own a gun.
Well, remind me never to
don't go there.
live in Atlanta, because I don't want to be around people that carry guns.
Yeah, don't do that.
Because I feel like when you just have guns all the time, one time you're going to be forced to use it, and I don't want to be there when that happens. Lil Wayne, he is dropping the Carter 5 years later. Will it actually be good, or do you even care?
I don't even care. I don't even know until you told me. I just think Lil Wayne is played out, much like what we were saying with Eminem. I just think his sound, his voice is a little old school. Obviously, he was on the top for a really long time. Monumental in bringing up some fantastic artists, you know, Young Money, Nicki, Drake, but I just think he's like the old Mr. Miyagi now. He should be out of the game. I'm just this album's a little irrelevant to me.
Yeah, Carter 5 should have came out years ago. Obviously, he wasn't able to with his label issues with Birdman and Cash Money. So I totally get it. My opinion, it's either going to be great or it's going to be trash. Like, it's going to be nowhere in between. Like, it's not even going to just be okay. It's just going to be a pass. And I think Lil Wayne can make it go well if he tells the story of what's been going on. We need, like, some seriousness. Like, he has to, like, be honest with himself and what's been going on. He can't just come out with, like, a collaboration album and have, like, 16 different artists on the whole album. Like, I don't want a collaboration album. You can have collabs on there, but it has to be like decent collabs that fit with him. But I think he needs to tell a story of what's been going on. But don't just come out with random songs for like 15 songs. I don't necessarily want to hear that from Lil Wayne. I'm just happy he's able to actually make music and be able to like go on his own tour, because seeing Lil Wayne in the clubs or getting bags in different clubs and have to do his nostalgia act, I feel bad for him. But he's gonna be great or trash. Unfortunately, I'm gonna go with trash. But we'll see. It comes out Friday. We'll talk about it more next week. What else we got? We're almost you have no opinions on this one, so I was going to have to give mine. So obviously there was a huge boxing fight this past week. Triple G lost to Canelo. It was a crazy, crazy decision. You said you didn't see the fight at all, did you?
Not even once.
Yeah, and I almost forgot about it, so I had people text me like the day of, so I ended up watching the main event. It was a pretty good fight. I mean, it's just a lot of times those fights where it's just jabbing back and forth. With boxing in 2018, that just doesn't really interest me anymore. Like, obviously, when I love, WWE, I watch UFC. Like, it's just more action in those types of things. Where boxing, like, just seeing people punch for 12 rounds, like, it just, people said it was a great fight. I was like, I was kind of bored with it. You know what I mean? So, should Triple G have won? I mean, it wasn't anything in the fight where I was like, he definitively won. So I'm not surprised that Canelo was the winner. Obviously, this is all fake. It's all propaganda. It's all, especially being in Vegas, it's totally going to be a third fight. It was a draw in the first one. Canelo won this one. Triple G is going to win the next one. They're going to have a fourth and final one at some point. It's just all to make money. The problem with boxing is it's so subjective. Like, there's no clear-cut winner. It's just random judges that can pick, who they want. Like, it doesn't matter. So these types of things are going to happen. So did Triple G get robbed? Possibly, but when he did not definitively win, in my opinion, it leaves it up for debate, and that's probably why Canelo won.
Cool.
Boxing. You're not boxing.
Boxing, not at all. I don't really like any fighting. I'm gonna be honest. I don't.
And some women do, which I think is kind of weird that they do. I'm like, why do you like barbaric sports? But
no, I don't like it. Well, football's a little bit barbaric, and I like football, but I don't have any interest in people just like beating each other to the ground like that.
Yeah,
No.
just seeing people punch each other in the face back and forth.
it's
And
not
then
my
like
thing.
after the fight, their faces all like destroyed.
Gross.
Like,
It's
guy.
gross. Yeah.
Then it takes like weeks to recover. So
Mm-hmm.
last one today is the first day of fall.
Woohoo!
What's your favorite season? Are you excited for fall? You got your UGG boots. You got your white iPhone.
First of all, my iPhone is rose
you got
gold.
your black yoga pants ready to go.
I'm really excited for fall.
That's like the fall uniform for women.
Yeah, I don't wear any of those things actually, but I am excited for fall because I just spent the last 18 years of my life in South Georgia where it's hot year round, which sounds really fun, but like if you're not on vacation, it's not. So I'm excited for fall and for the leaves to change and to actually like wear a hoodie and a scarf, and I'm pumped.
Yeah, I like the fall before the fact that it's football season, like college,
Right.
NFL. I do like that it's still warm in Chicago, still like 70s, low 80s. I'm down for that. I do feel like the seasons are changing to where as long as it's like 70s through October, I'm all for it. Bring it on. Obviously, I prefer summer, but I do love Chicago, the fact that we actually do have different seasons. It's not just hot all around. It's like why the only reason I never moved down south. I don't like when it's 80, 90 degrees, 100 degrees year round. Like I like some season changes. So I'm excited for fall. I'm excited for it. It was a crazy summer, so it's good to chill out, watch some football,
Wear your UGG boots
and drink pumpkin spice lattes.
your yoga pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a pumpkin spice latte fan or what?
No.
Yeah, right.
Why don't you believe me?
I don't know. I'm not.
No. But shout out to people who are, because that's a gross drink.
Starbucks, man, they're flying off the shelves with
Yeah,
those.
people love 'em.
Absolutely. Let's move on to clown of the week. So I got a clown that I got to get this off my chest. People have been killing me on social media for the past 48 hours because obviously with this whole Eminem MGK beef, everyone obviously knows I'm on MGK's side. And of course, they couldn't wait to tell me that he got booed off stage during his Rap Devil performance. I think it was in Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
And allegedly, he not necessarily just got booed, he got booed off stage where he didn't finish his performance. So my count of the week is going to people who actually believe that crap. 2, my count of the week are for the Eminem stans who fake edited a video of him getting booed when he never got booed. So first of all, if you actually look at the original, there's been multiple videos sent out, like 7 other videos of him in the crowd of him performing. He was never booed, like not a single once. You can blatantly tell of the video that got circulated around. You can easily tell the piped in boos that sounded completely fake, that they weren't even there, and that they were actually piped in. I think it's actually interesting that Eminem stans, who I love Eminem, I'm a stan myself, but Eminem stans are so pressed that MGK is actually putting pressure on him that they would actually take the time to go overtime and work overtime and actually concoct this video and actually send it out to the blogs. And then 2, the blogs actually running with it and actually saying that he got booed. First of all, the show was in Orlando. MGK performed Rap Devil in Grand Rapids, which is in Michigan, and he was not booed. He's performed it in several other cities after that and was not booed. So why in the heck would Run Random Night in Orlando, Florida, that crowd, which obviously is his fans were there, but majority for Fall Out Boy, why would Fall Out Boy fans have that much invested interest in Eminem and MGK to boo him? And not even boo him, but boo him off stage. Like, who would ever just not, I'm just not going to do the rest of my show? That didn't happen one single bit. Like, he even got, I guess they were in North Carolina yesterday, didn't get booed at all. So I'm sorry, that's a fake story. All these stories are fake. It's just pretty interesting to see like the Eminem fans trying to like take them down. They're really concerned about this. So my clown of the week goes to the Eminem fans who created this fake video of him getting booed. Sorry guys, try again. He was not booed, and you guys get the clown of the week for that. Who's yours?
Okay, so my clown of the week goes to Bills cornerback Avonte Davis. If you didn't really hear, this past Sunday, he retired at halftime. They were 22 points down to the Chargers, and I don't know what was going on in his brain. He just was over it, and he walked off the field. Of course, they were talking, mumbling that he was coming back, or this, that, and the other, and he decided to retire. So kind of something a little normal that we'll see more normal is for a player to leave the field, but to leave the field and retire is a little bit ridiculous. So he's going to be my clown of the week. Apparently, before the game, there was other things leading up to it. It wasn't like he was in pain or that they were down 22 points or whatever that he left and decided to retire. Apparently, it was thoughts leading up to it. He decided before he even signed his 1 year, $5 million contract with the Bills that he shouldn't be playing anymore after 6 seasons with the Colts. But he signed it anyway, came over, took the deal, played 2 games, and then decided to retire. So 30-year-old quarterback from the Bills, Vontae Davis, you're my clown of the week because I feel like you should have known. I feel like you should have known before you signed this deal, and I feel like if you knew you were too old to play, if you knew you were done, if you knew you weren't in it, you shouldn't have signed another deal.
I think that was amazing that he did that. Definitely I get why you give him clown of the week, but that was a ballsy move. He basically walked out to the car at halftime with his full equipment on. There's a video going around
right.
a guy mimic. I don't know if you saw that, but I thought it was hilarious that he actually did that. And the Bills are horrible. They're gonna have a pretty bad season, so he's probably forget. He couldn't even wait till the end of the game.
Right, that's all I'm saying. I understand you being 22 points down, probably in pain, probably what the hell am I doing here? But finish the game. Now all his players are pissed at him, all his teammates. I mean, just finish the game before you walk out, but whatever. Happy retirement.
Happy retirement. This has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you joining.
Thank you.
You did a great job. Obviously, you being in radio, this is like riding a bike for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little different, but it's a lot more talking. I don't just make a joke, intro a song, and then dip out and do whatever I want. So
you actually get an opinion. People actually get to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of fun. So Kate killed it. She may or may not be back in the future. I'm going to think about it. I'm going to hear the playback and decide if she's good. Also, listeners, I want to hear your thoughts. Let us know how you think Kate did. Like I said, I know I'm kidding. You did a great job. And I knew you would be, so I wasn't that concerned about it. I did want to mention that the Fan of the Week will be back next week. I know we took a mini hiatus from that. We will be back acknowledging the fans, so that is coming back next week. Make sure on this Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are on wilddogsradio.com each and every Thursday. That may be changing soon, but for now, you can check us out there on Thursday at 7 p.m. Shouts out to Doug for the opportunity as well. We're on 247liveculture.com. Make sure you check out their website. They have other podcasts, songs on there as well, too, so make sure you check them out. We're all over the place. It's been a great ride. I love you all. Kate, before we get up out of here, anything else you want to say to the listeners of Alternative Facts Chicago?
Thanks for having me. Make sure you tell B-Hun how great I was and how much you love me so I can come back. And follow me on Instagram. It's Kate, C-A-I-T, no Jenner. And I'll follow back.
Why is that? People in their crazy handles.
Caitlyn Jenner. So Kate, C-A-I-T is how I spell my name, and I always have. And then, when Caitlyn Jenner became Caitlyn Jenner and started going by Kate, that's all anybody could associate me with. So I'm gonna make a joke out of it. So follow me.
There you go. So go follow Kate. Let me know if you think she should come back on the show. Send B-Chan her love. Tell her we'll love and miss her. Always a friend of the show. But my Twitter and Instagram is BHUN1984, BHUN 1984, and I'm hungry. I want to drink, so I'm going to get the heck up out of here. So this is episode 59. Episode 60, man, it's coming next week. We got more announcements coming soon, a lot of things in the works behind the scenes. The show is going to keep getting bigger and better, and I'm going to be here along for the ride. And if you didn't hear, I'm actually on the Global Committee for Glapa Nova now. You may not know what that means, but you'll know very soon. So making a lot of moves, a lot of strides here with the show, and we're definitely here to stay. So this is B-Hun, Alternative Facts Chicago, with my homie Kate here today, and we'll be back next week. We're out. Peace.
Bye.